Hi, welcome to the Roost. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fun matchbook card, or also a little holder for like a packet of M&Ms or maybe cocoa for your co-workers by just adding a little extra gusseted score on the top. So this card is using the Christmas Pines suite of products from the Stampin' Up! Christmas catalog. So we're going to start with just cutting your cardstock in half the long way, so at 4 1/4. Now there's just a little bit different scores on this, depending upon whether you want to make the card or the pouch. For the card, you're going to score it at 1 inch and at 6 1/4. So this is our piece that's going to make a card. Now the other one, we're going to make a little pocket so that we can hold a treat, and we're going to score this one again at 1. So it's not going to change the little tab there. But up here we're actually going to switch this, and we are going to score it at 6 and 6 1/2. So it's going to give us that 1/2 inch so that we have room to include something thick in our card. Now our next step is going to be to take a stapler and go ahead and put 2 staples, I'm not sure if you can see this, but fairly close to the bottom of your 1 inch fold over, and that's just going to be our little tab to hold the flap in. So they're both going to be made the same way. So that's the only difference between these two projects, is that we're adding the gusset. The decorations are the same. For the decorative pieces, you're going to need 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, one cut at 4 by 4 and the other cut by 4 by 4 1/2. Now the longer one is actually going to tuck inside here, the inside of the card. And these pieces should work the same for both. So the smaller piece is actually going to go on the front. Then we also need just a little strip of some designer series paper, and this is the Christmas specialty, and you're going to cut that at 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And you can choose whichever paper from this the designer specialty paper looks you like the best, or that you have little scraps of because you're not using very much of it. We're going to be putting some of the pines on both the inside and the outside. And this is an awesome stamp set, by the way, the Christmas Pines. It has these cool pine cones and some nice greetings in it. So we're going to stick with the color family that's in the specialty paper we're using, and we're going to go with the garden green. So let's just, now this is our, okay, so these two are our front. So our front piece, we're going to want to do 2 sets of pine needles across the top, one a little bit less than the other. And we're just going to do this kind of in, what do you call that, where you do lots of one thing, like Henry Ford making his cars. Assembly line. Okay. So then on the inside, I've also included a little bit of the pine needles to kind of carry it through from the front, decorate our inside. So we're just going to do that. And now you'll notice that I am stamping first and then embossing, because I want this green on here. So then we're going to do our our greetings as well before we emboss, so that everything is all stamped. Now this needs to go on the front, which is the pieces that have the two pines on it. We're just going to put this on the kind of the bottom right side. Now I also found that if I took a marker, just because I wanted it to stand out a little bit more, I took one of the markers in the cranberries, or I want to call this cranberry all the time, but cherry cobbler, and outlined the letters just to make the edges of them a little bit darker. But that's up to you. It's kind of a little extra putsy work, but it did seem to kind of add. So then I am going to take my my pines folder, and I marked it this side up because for the life of me sometimes I do them the wrong way. So then you're going to actually put this in sideways, if you could call it that, because you want this to go this way down here, and go ahead and run that through your Big Shot. Okay, so you see now we've added a little bit of texture to our paper with that. I've also decided that I'm going to add a little bit of sprig from this. This is the framelits that actually match the stamp set, the Christmas pines. You know, when I first got this, I thought, holy moly, there's, count them, 4 different ways to cut a pine cone. And some of them make it look like, you know, the pine cone is closed and you can see the little things. Some that's this one, I believe. Some are triangles, so you can layer it over top. Play with those. Just play with them. That's all I can say. I haven't even begun to explore all the different things that those pine cone framelits can do together. So let me go get these cut, and I will be back again in a minute. For this pine cone, I'm actually going to stamp the smallest, the small pine cone, and I'm going to use Early Espresso. Just move these out of the way. Sorry about that. And now I like to use the like any of the brown colored cardstocks as a base when I'm stamping, even when I'm stamping the solid one, so that the edges are brown and they don't show through, you know, like the very vanilla or the white. So that's the reason I am actually using a brown color on this. And then I'm going to stamp again using this little guy. So it's going to have some seed pods, or whatever you want to call those little guys. And you'll see that even using the same color on top of it, see if you can see that in there, it's going to give it that nice pine cone effect. It almost looks like it has dimension. Now we have our pieces all assembled here. Let me put these. I do also want to say I love these magnets. I just wish they came in the exact size of the envelopes. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to assemble. I actually found this was a piece that I had left over from another project, and I'm going to see how this looks on here. I like to change up my projects. That's the lovely thing about this Pine Suite. It has so many fun things that you can swap around and use interchangeably on the same card to make it a little bit different. Especially for my friends and family who might be opening their cards at the same time, I do like to spice them up a little bit so that everybody has a unique card. Okay, so we're just going to put that. There's 2 of these, kind of in different directions in this from each other. We'll go ahead and put these green ones on this one. I put these leaves down first, and then I'm going to cover the tips with the pine cone, because sometimes these little tips are not the easiest to get glue on. Okay, so then we have our pine cones next. Just move that out of the way. I'm actually going to take a little fast fuse for these. We're going to put this, kind of layer it right over top of our little leaflet. Okay. Now we'll glue on our bows. And I do like using my little silicone sheet when I remember it, so that I don't get glue on my work surface, and then of course stick my products or my cards into the sticky spot on my work surface. Forgot one other thing. When I was stamping, I need to put my inside greeting in here. The other thing I like to do while I'm stamping, but I'm not going to do it right now because I don't have them here, is I like to actually take my envelopes when I'm doing my card and stamp maybe a little sprig of the pine needles onto my envelope as well in the corner. So I thought this was just the cutest greeting. It says, "May your Christmas sparkle with joy and happiness." Isn't that just an awesome thing to tell somebody? I think sparkle is just a fun word. Christmas is always so glittery. Okay, so to finish up, we just need to add our little strips here. We're just going to pop these on. I think we'll be okay. You're going to go ahead and tuck that kind of behind and center it on the three sides. Go ahead and sting on the top. We're just going to, now I especially like to use fast fuse when I am gluing things down that have embossing on them, because the embossing tends to make things not stick. And you're going to center this one on the three sides. So then we're going to tuck that in, and there's our card. Okay, this one's a little bit smaller because of our gusset, but it'll work. Okay, so we have now let's get our left side piece on. I'm going to fold that down there so I can get it kind of the right spot with a gusset. And then this one, you're just going to tuck your, you can either put your treat in a little cellophane baggie, you know, and you could even staple it in if you wanted to, so it was more secure so it didn't fall out. I'm thinking M&Ms, or I'm really thinking for my coworkers that some hot cocoa might be nice too. Hope you've enjoyed this, and hop on over to my blog and check out some other cute ideas for Christmas.